FM, KCAA Loma Linda.
Out show, food critic Allan Borgen here.
And Izzy Bussy.
And what an interesting day. It's hot, it's cold, it's going to be snowing in a minute.
It's
40 below
drizzling
zero.
this morning.
God, only California.
I
Are there
know.
any, you've traveled a lot. Are there any states that do this like this? I mean, it could be hot, it could be
Drastic?
cold. Yeah.
I know it happened to me growing up in Houston, so it could be like
Houston's like
hotter
that?
and hotter, and then next thing you know, it's like pouring down rain, then it hailed, got cold. It's crazy.
Wow. Think about pouring down rain. It's kind of a segue. It's not really, but we went to a restaurant last week. It got great reviews, and it was very interesting. So of course, being foodies, we had to try it.
Have to check it
It's
out.
called the Savage Chef. It's in Menifee, and we go inside there. It's quaint, really nice looking place actually. It doesn't look like it belongs in the Inland Empire, but it does. But it's really quaint and nice looking. Nice service, very professional service, kind of. We'll get into that in a couple of minutes. But interesting menu. They had a little bit of everything. It wasn't gigantic, but we had a lot of different things. They had 25%. Was it 25%?
It was a Wednesday. I think it was a Wednesday special. So they do like 25% off certain appetizers. There's some sort of drink specials, and also it's buy one get one half off on pizza.
Right.
Yep.
So anyway, we had it was meatballs, chicken meatballs. Are actually very, very good. You get I think 4 of them. We really like that. They had calamari, fried calamari. That was good too. Really nice.
Yeah, the sauce was amazing. I mean, that's probably my favorite sauce. I mean, I'm like, wow, it's very unique because you usually get calamari, you think, okay, marinara,
Boring.
remoulade or something like that. Definitely not. It's a yuzu aioli. I was like, what? And it was tangy. It was like lively. It was like dancing in your mouth, literally.
Exactly. Then what was the third one we had? I forgot now. It wasn't the pizza. It was something.
Was it chicken wings?
Oh yeah, chicken wings.
And these things are gigantic.
Yeah, they were. If I was a chicken, I'd have wings like that. It was like they were like on steroids. I've never seen chickens that big.
Yeah, it was huge.
Like Jurassic Park chickens, I think.
Yeah.
But then we saw pizza. They had Detroit style pizza. Now, if you know anything about pizzas and you're listening to the show, Detroit style pizzas are one of my favorites. And it's made in a pan. Like a rectangle pan, and it's a deep dish, thick pizza. What they do is put usually white cheddar cheese around it, so it's burnt. It looks like burnt cheese, but it isn't. But it's real
Crispy.
good, and all the grease goes into the dough, and it's fantastic. And once you've had it, you will have a food orgasm. I guarantee it. So we thought, oh man, it's time for a food orgasm. We haven't had one in a while.
We're all ready for it because you can't find that around here in California.
So we get it. Okay. Yeah, it was kind of rectangle, but it was kind of like depleted. It looked like it was sorry looking. Let's put it that way.
It was sad.
It was very sad, but it was okay. We're objective. Sometimes if things look bad, but they taste good or whatever. So we picked it up, and it was even sadder. To look at it,
kind of like
it was kind
flopping.
the ends were fine, but the middle was underbaked, so a little doughy. So nice, no big deal. We asked them, can you please cook this longer or give us another one, either one. So she was very nice about it. They took it back. She apologized. She brought it back. And
they cooked it again.
Yeah, they basically cooked it. So the outsides were even burnt more, and the insides were a little bit more cooked, but not much. It was still, you open it up and it just kind of flopped down. So anyway, it was very, very disappointing.
It was mushy, and I hate mushy dough. So it tastes like a mushy bread.
Yeah, the dough. I looked at it. The dough, pizza dough should be airy and really nice looking.
Well, the Detroit style pizzas, all the ones I've had, it looks like a honeycomb. So if you picture a honeycomb, like you get at a farmer's market, it's that like kind of height, a couple inches tall. It got all these holes, cells in the middle. It's kind of fluffy looking.
That's what
they should look like. Yeah.
Well, this looked like Wonder Bread. Doughy.
Mushy.
So anyway,
mushy, soaky.
We get our bill back, and guess what?
We didn't eat it. Literally did not eat it.
You had maybe a half a piece of one, and I had
Two
maybe
bites.
a half piece of one, and that was it. And I mean, we told her we didn't want to want to take it home or anything. You think she'd take it off the menu, take it off the the bill and everything? Nope, she charges for it. So, it wasn't there. I mean, we just said, what the heck? Let's just, we'll make a deal out of it. We wanted to get home. We were tired.
Yeah, it was like
But-
$23 or $25. I can't
Well,
remember.
we had their homemade sausage. It was
The
actually
homemade
very
sausage
good.
on top was good. I picked
Yeah,
off a
toppings are
piece
good.
just to taste it. But, it was kind of like, I was so ready for that awesome pizza. And I was like, oh.
Disappoints. It's kind of like bad sex. You expect really good sex and just blah. You don't. You gonna, us
Inappropriate.
guys gonna understand when it becomes limp. That's the way the bread was. So.
Yeah, it was really sad.
Okay, let's move on here. So.
Anyway.
Anyway, we have a guest with us, and we're after a few little commercial spots. I want to introduce him, but his name is Brett Miller, and he's a friend of mine who, kind of an up and coming, but more than up and coming comedian. And we were going to talk comedy. We need that, especially after eating terrible pizza. So welcome to the show, Brett.
How
wherever
you doing?
are.
Thanks for having me.
Izzy, can you move your fat head there? Thank you. God, all I see
Gee,
is Izzy's
thanks.
head. Oh, much better. Okay, so anyway, we have a few spots we're going to talk about. So you got to give our sponsors some praise.
Not a problem.
Joe's laughing. So anyway, Bowler and Bowler Family Law. Now, if you're into a divorce, if you have to get to one, if you have any kind of family problem and you need a family attorney, Bowler and Bowler in Redlands is a great group. They're really good people. It's a father-son. They've been in business for over 40 years. I want to say 45 years, something like that. And I personally can tell you they're really, really good. So, well, no, I'm just, yeah. Well, no, I'm just saying I really appreciate them. They don't talk down to you. They talk at the same level. Their staff are very, very professional. If they said they'll call you back, they call you back. And they're just good people. And again, if you have any problems with family law type practice, anything you need help with, they're the ones to go to. So their website is Bowler and Bowler. That's BOWLER and Bowler.com. That's bowlerandbowler.com. They're in Redlands. Again, bowlerandbowler.com. And
Well, one of my favorite spot, actually me and Alan's favorite spot, is called Ray's Shanghai Bistro, located next to the Redlands DMV on Lagonia. If you guys haven't been there, you need to check it out because it offers the largest and most delicious array of traditional and original Chinese dishes available in the Inland Empire. My favorite, which is the orange peel chicken. Beef, actually. Orange peel beef, yes.
Brad, have you ever had that?
No, I can't say
It's
I have.
thin pieces of beef, but it's breaded and deep fried. So it comes out real crispy, and the sauce they put on it, it's like General Chicken. It's sweet.
Okay, yeah.
It could be a little spicy, whatever, but
It's
unbelievable.
tangy. It's,
But you want to get it crispy. That's the main thing. So
Now
yeah.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, it makes you salivate thinking about it. Every time I talk about this, it's like makes my mouth
And
salivate.
And I can actually say they're probably the premier Chinese restaurant in the Inland Empire. I've
Yeah,
eaten
around here
everywhere
you
I
just can't find
really?
any.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make their own pot stickers. They make their own guizas from
Everything.
scratch. Make a crispy pork spare ribs. They have a cumin lamb that's amazing. And Alan's really like the hot and sour soup there. So
Very good.
yeah, if you guys want to whether want to dine in or pick up the food, give them a try. And they're located in Lugonia. Once again, the RuisShanghaiBistro.net, RuisShanghai Bistro, BISTRO.net. That's RuisShanghaiBistro.net.
Good stuff. So, okay, I need a laugh. So let's make me laugh. So, okay, let's talk about, first of all, welcome again to the show.
Thank you.
And we had the pleasure of meeting you. Besides comedy, you also do construction, and you do a lot of stuff around the house. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
He's a
work
contractor.
you worked with other companies. You actually worked for a TV show.
Yes, I was with, I can't remember the name of the company, but it was with my good friend Jock Beasley. And we did a Whole House for the Property Brothers TV show in Las Vegas in 2020. And that was interesting, with COVID going on and everything,
Right.
and watching how a film crew had to work around that and everything. It was intense.
Yeah, so you must know your stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Go figure.
I'm I'm pretty good at it.
Now, comedy is something that it's hard to get into. I mean, I love laughing. I always wanted to be a comedian, but there's just so much to it.
Yeah.
And I don't, most people, they can't take rejection. And what got you into comedy? Did you start out as a young kid, always being a comic in the class and stuff, or what?
Yeah, kind of. I was always the jokester, where I grew up and stuff. That's kind of what we did. We used to call the dozens, we just bag on each other. But I didn't get into comedy until I was 30.
Oh, really?
That was
Oh,
when
wow.
I first started. Yeah.
Why 30?
You know, I don't know. I used to go to comedy shows all the time in my 20s. Like that was a thing, you know, dates or just get to have fun, whatever. I love comedy. And I was 30, and my cousin, Richard, let's see if I can get this right. His roommate's mom was dating a comic producer.
Okay.
And so his name was Eddie Jarvis, and Richard introduced me to him, and he's like, "Cuz you gotta do this, man. You're funny, dude. Like when we're all hanging out, you're always the one just telling the stories. We're all in a group listening to you." And so I went and I did it, and the first time I ever got on stage, I was supposed to do 7 minutes, and I ended up doing 27 minutes.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. It wasn't all, great 27, but I did it. And yes, you're right, though. You have to, the rejection part is hard, but I'm kind of used to that. It's okay.
Now, how do you get your material? Is it real life experiences, or some people they concentrate on either a marriage or politics or topical type things? What do you deal with?
Mine's most of it's real life stuff I've been through, lived through. There's been times where I've been driving to a show and something happens, and I literally, in 30 minutes, I'm on stage and I'm talking about that. I do touch on topical stuff. I have had a couple jokes about religion, politics, whatever, but I like to walk the line on those things. And piss both sides of the fence off.
Okay.
Again, most of my stuff is about what I've seen with my two eyes in front of me, which ends up being a lot about how I grew up, where I grew up, relationships, my kids, and then my friends, family.
Just everyday life.
Yeah, really, and that comes pretty easy, especially with my two sons, man, Jared and Eric. I love you boys so much, and I do anything for them. And those two knuckleheads, man, they're 21 and 18 now, or they're about to be 21 and 18. And when I started, they were like 12, and there's nothing better to get material from than a 12-year-old,
Exactly. So, now in terms of what are some of the high? I mean, what do you get from an audience? I mean, like I see it as like a chef.
Uh-huh.
We make a meal and the people are just the yummy sound and their eyes just open up and everything, and that's very rewarding. I mean, when people come to my house to entertain, I hardly eat. I'm there to entertain them in a way with food. Are you the same way?
Yes, 100%. With a chef, my father, Brett Miller, also he's a magician. No, he's not a magician.
Food, right?
Well, except that time he disappeared and never came back. No,
that's another story.
Yeah, it's another story. No, he's a musician, and he used to tell me as a kid, live performance when he's up there and he's just in that moment. He's like, there's no sex or drug on the planet that touches it, and it's just that pure adrenaline rush. And I feel that. I feed off the crowd. It is literally like the most addictive thing I've ever done in my life. And now because I've had a little bit of that, 1,000 people I think was the most I've been in front of.
Wow.
But I'll go to concerts and I watch these guys like Zach Bryan when he's playing in front of 15,000 people and they all got lighters on singing his song. That feeling, it's
unbelievable, isn't it?
It is, absolutely, and you're constantly chasing that forever.
Izzy's like in La La Land here.
La La Land? Why am I in La La Land?
Because I think you're envious.
Oh, I am?
That you're not funny at all.
I am definitely not funny. I have no funny bone whatsoever.
Okay.
I think it was like a black hole somewhere. It got lost, sucked out
Izzy's
of
the only
me.
one you could tell a joke to and, huh? Huh?
I still laugh.
Yeah.
She says, I just know when to put it. Fill in laughter there.
Fill in laughter, even though
She
I have
laughs
to
because other
figure
people are
it out.
laughing, but
Yeah.
then afterwards, they're, whoa, what did he say? Well, do you see that? Do you see a lot of people like deer in headlights, like, huh?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, there's jokes that I've said before that go over crowds' heads, and sometimes if it's a clever joke and it goes over the crowd's head, you're like, okay, I got to dumb this set down a little bit.
No, but isn't that funny too? Where you can also, I've seen comedians say, hello, that was a joke. They
Yeah.
feed into it.
Yeah. No, it is. Sometimes you do it on purpose.
Right.
Because, you know, in my first, say year, if you're really doing it and you're really passionate about it, you start to learn certain things. Like a lot of times comics get scared because it's silent. They're not getting it. But silence doesn't mean it's bad. It means they're paying attention.
Right.
So if you say a joke and no one does anything, it's okay. They're still on board. They're not talking. They're not yelling at you. That's what you don't want. You don't want them to.
You don't want a heckler?
Yeah, well, I don't mind a heckler. You can ask many people out there. They know I don't mind a heckler at all.
Well, I was going to ask you about heckling, but let me reintroduce you. This is, again, you're listening to the Let's Sign Out show right here on AM 1050, 106.5 FM. And with us, with the Let's Sign Out show, and with us is Brent Miller, who's a comedian and a very funny man. We saw him when he did work with us. We laughed at his work, but that's a different story. But we also saw him that night where he was in a comedy store. So we went to visit him, and we
It was
had a
awesome.
great time. It was
Thank
It
you.
was
really
such a
fun.
great
you.
evening. Yep.
But let's talk about hecklers now.
Okay,
Because I want to heckle the hell out of you tonight.
Oh, that's fine with me.
Okay.
Oh, keep me out of it.
No, I think a lot of comics, they're afraid of that, but sometimes you got to realize that sometimes people are just drunk. They don't even know what they're doing. They think they're being funny. You just have to be able to stand up there and what I call is just accept the burn, because it kind of burns if you're bombing or someone's yelling at you, and so once you get used to that, you're fine, and just
So you don't take it personally.
no. I mean, I've had people do things and that's taken it personal. I've been rushed on stage. I've had guys pull a gun, pull a knife, throw beer bottles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okie
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So there's been pretty intense things. I think that also has to do with the fact that I'm not one to back down, So, but I do have, I'm a pretty good guy with hecklers. Me and Kevin Davis, who's on the show we're doing tonight, we were up in Mac Rome. We were up in, shout out to those guys. We were up in Newberry Springs about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and there was this lady. She was just drunk, and she thought she was being so funny. She was being an absolute idiot, but I was featuring for Kevin, and I was just hoping, please, I hope she doesn't pass out before I get up because I got something for her. And I get up there, and she was at the bar when I first started. So I was probably 5 minutes into my set when she comes back. And as soon as she comes back, she just yells some vulgarities, at me. And I just looked at the crowd and I said, she messed up, right? And I got a video. It's about 12 minutes of me just destroying her. And then she got up to like kind of come up to the stage and just face planted on the stage. It was great. It was
Did
great.
you see, it was last week, a comedian was at a comedy club, and when the lady was drunk, she got up and threw a whole can of beer at her.
On
It
TV,
hit the
yeah.
wall, exploded, and she just looked at her, picked up the can, and drank it.
Oh, perfect. See,
thanked
that's
her
well
for it.
played. Yeah, there
She,
you go.
I mean, didn't stop or anything, just smiled, picked it up, and
And
drank it
everybody cheered for her.
Yeah.
Clearly, the whole audience did.
as they took out the woman.
Yeah. That's the thing too. Is honestly, most of the time, if someone's going beyond like a respectable or an appropriate boundary, usually they'll just take them out the crowd. You don't have to worry about it. If the comic's engaging and obviously it's making it funny, then it's all good.
See, I think comedians who screw up a joke or something, they make fun of it so bad, and they repeat it, and they each step. Gilbert Godfrey.
Yeah.
I heard him doing something, and he screwed up, and he started making fun of it, and he goes, "Let me start over." Then he's explaining every little thing. When I say duck, it's not. He just goes on and on, but it was so hilariously funny.
See,
and
and
it shows the humanity of you.
Yeah.
It shows that you handle things like that, and it was just really funny stuff.
Yeah, no, it really can be. And, sometimes people forget that we're all just human. We may be on the stage, but, we have feelings. And I'll tell you, comedians are some of the darkest, most messed up people you will ever meet.
But that's what makes them funny.
It is. Because, Kevin Hart, one of his specials, I think Kevin Hart's hilarious. I don't think he's the greatest comic ever, but he is funny.
Mm-hmm.
But he had a special called Laugh at My Pain. And just that title alone, I think, embodies what real comedy is. We're taking, in my 20s, I was pretty angry at the world, dealing with stuff with my, kids, my kid's mom, things like that. And it wasn't until I found comedy that I turned all these dark and hurtful, depressing issues into jokes, and I made fun of them, and then I felt better. It's
So it's therapy for you.
it really is, and that's what we call comics in the comedy world. We're like, this is our therapy. We're getting on stage, even if it's a Tuesday night and there's only 5 people, and you don't have anything to say, just standing up there like, "What's up, guys?"
Yeah.
It just is a release, and
Right.
that's, I think, what all comedians really do.
I'm friends with Bill Kinnison, who's the brother manager he was of Sam Kinnison,
Yeah.
and you hear some of the stories. And the way he was in person was not exactly the way he was on stage, but it was really interesting how it's like an alter ego.
Yes.
I know musicians who dressed up like Kiss, just dressed up real scary looking and everything. But one's a kindergarten teacher, one works with abused, neglected kids. I mean, you look at them, you would never know it. But then you look at their costumes and everything, and on stage, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
And that's it's the way they deal with stress, with everything.
It's like a mask, sometimes if you put the mask on, you don't feel that people are looking directly at you, and then it's easier for you to express yourself. And I don't necessarily wear a mask, but I do have a persona. For those of you out there, my stage name is actually Brett As Is, but my name's Brett Miller. But when I'm on stage, I dress a certain way, I talk a certain way, I embody certain characteristics from my younger years, because that's like my character. This is, okay, hate this guy, laugh at this guy. But my everyday life is, I work hard, I wear boots all the time, but you wouldn't guess that if seeing me on stage.
Mm-hmm.
What comedians impress you in terms of had an influence on you that you admire?
Off the bat, I mean, Eddie Murphy, because Delirious and Raw came out. Well, I think Delirious came out in '83. I was just born. I think. I could be wrong about what year I was born. Not what. No. No, Eddie Murphy. I remember I watched him as a kid, and I even if I couldn't understand it, I don't know why, it just was so funny to me. But George Carlin, Sam Kinison, I absolutely loved Sam Kinison. Andrew Dice Clay, I know some people don't like him, but again, that's just a character, and I just think that's hilarious. But my all-time favorite has got to be Lenny Bruce. He was, to me, the godfather of it all. The reason we could drop the F-bomb on stage, and he got painted into a corner, and it ruined him. But Lenny, if you guys haven't heard him, you got his album, The Things I Got Arrested For. That is...
Oh, it's real honest. I mean, he's very honest.
Yeah.
He didn't make anything up. It was just real live.
Yeah.
And, same thing with George Carlin. It's pretty much all live. Sam Kinison, same thing. It was just, he was a preacher at one time, so he just went into the religious part, but he did a whole different thing of religion than anybody else.
Yeah.
And plus, I find in comedy, I know, I've been known to make people laugh too. And I just, I say things sometimes, as Izzy would say, how do you do? You're so politically incorrect, Alan. But, if it makes them laugh, that's the way I am. If it's going to make you laugh. And I realize that if you say things that other people think, but they don't say it, that makes them laugh. That's why, to me, I hate to say it, but toilet humor.
Yeah.
It's funnier than hell, but you say a fart joke, or people laugh with that, and they look at each other like, see, you do that too, whatever. And I think that's a lot too, where comedians, they say things that a lot of people think about and they can identify with. And that's, I think, that what makes people laugh too, because
It's
a
relatable.
lot of people are inhibited.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people go to comedy to get them out of it. That's their way out.
Yeah, it's...
I could be wrong, but I just
No,
think
it's 100% right. That's why the best sets I have, well, I mean, I just slay every time. No, I'm just kidding. It's the best stuff that I've done has always been stuff that is relatable to people, not acting like I'm above anybody or anything. Just, I go to work. I have kids, just like everyone.
right.
I've had past relationships and future events, and I'm just a normal guy. but I'm a normal guy that talks about it.
Right.
And that's, like you said, people are afraid to talk about it, you know.
A lot of people are just they don't say anything. They keep it all in.
Yeah.
And then people like me and you come around and like,
Yeah.
oh God, you know, how he said that. Did you hear him? He actually said that.
I've had people do that.
But you know, I think people I know being on TV, I'm just myself. I mean, do I mispronounce words? Oh well. That's
Yeah.
my theory is oh well. That's my favorite line.
Yeah.
You know, I make fun of myself all the time. And people like that because they see that you're human.
Yeah.
And I think you said that, and I think it makes a lot of sense. Izzy, what do you agree with that?
I agree. Yeah, because I mean, I think when people put on an act, you can feel the phoniness. It comes through. I think not being genuine. So it's same thing with comedy. I think if you put on an act, you go, oh, it's an act. If it's relatable, I think it's easier to go, oh yeah, I can relate to that. Because if somebody says something and you've never done it before, it's harder to relate, right? I think your audience get more sucked in and actually get, oh yeah, I've done that. Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me, kind of thing. I think it really gets people respond better when you can relate to that person. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Let's Sign Out Show right here on AM 1050, 106.5 FM. And so Let's Sign Out Show, and with us is Brett Miller, Brett as is. You've got a couple of on YouTube, right?
Yes.
How can it find you?
There's a couple things on YouTube. Some of it, if any of it's still there, it's old. Anything that, like, say, I posted. I had some people in different states trying to kind of steal jokes. And, if you haven't done it on TV, it's not your joke kind of thing. Or copyrighted it at least. So I took a lot of stuff down, but I'm actually signed to a record label.
Oh, cool.
Cool. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. Grim Reality Entertainment. And so now I just release stuff through them because it's copyrighted. So if you go to like Grim Reality Entertainment on YouTube or to their webpage, or you could find me on Spotify. I'm on iTunes. I even have it like if you go on Instagram and you want to post on your story, you can find music. You could type Brett as is, and little samples of my stuff come up
cool.
that you can actually. Yeah, it's really fun. But I just released. I don't have the link. It literally. I don't even know if I'm allowed to talk about it yet.
Uh-oh. I think we're getting the,
We'll have
the
you on again.
lowdown right now.
But I just released. It's 2 singles. It was one whole set. We cut it into 2 to release 2 singles. It's live at Mezcal in downtown Riverside. I just did that about 4 weeks ago.
Oh, cool.
And I know it's on Spotify, but they haven't officially announced it yet. So if you find it, go ahead, check it out. But yeah, the label hasn't posted it yet.
Brett as is. So
Brett as is.
Real quick, got a commercial break we got to do. So not too long ago, I was rear-ended. My car was rear-ended. I have to.
Let's clarify that one.
Yeah, my car was rear. I was hitting the back of my car. So for the second time within the year, luckily no one was hurt. My car had a boo-boo on it. I couldn't put a Band-Aid on it. So I took it to the best place I know. I know the owner, and unbelievable. It's called All Magic Paint and Body. They're in Moreno Valley, Fontana, Eastvale, and Corona, Norco.
Yep.
And unbelievable work. Professionals can be. They don't try to oversell you. You may think you need something, but they don't give it to you. I mean, if you don't need it, they're not going to do that for you. Mm-hmm. They work with all the insurance companies. They're very reliable. And what's really nice is that they keep you abreast of everything. Every week they let you know the progress. Hey, it's going to be another week. We put it in the order in and whatever. And then on the end, I didn't tell you about this. I got a letter a couple of days ago thanking me. This is like the second or third letter.
Aww.
And I mean, he signed it and everything, not just because we're friends, but I just thought that's really neat. You feel like you've gone to a real professional. Mm-hmm. And, you want to get your car fixed just like you go to a doctor. You want a good doctor. You don't want to go to a regular doctor or go to a veterinarian to do a job that needs to be done, even though he's a friend of yours and you can do it for free. So, but I highly recommend them. Again, it's All Magic. Their website is allmagicauto.com. That's allmagicauto.com. They do everything from Fords and Chevys to Hyundai and even Tesla. They do everything. They're all certified, everything, and really, really good people. So anyway, that's that one. And the other one is Dr. Maynard Tobias. Now, again, if you in order to eat, you got to have good teeth. Sorry about that, but anyway,
You don't want gummet?
That's a different, gummy is good for some things, but not for eating, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, it's a family show, but But anyway, yeah, Dr. Tobias, he's really, really amazing. The staff are very professional, and best of all, there's no pain. That's all. I'm a big wuss. I mean, I get a paper cut, I'm out for a month. You know, God forbid if I had to have a baby, this population would be over with. But they're really, really good people, and again, no pain, and they work with you too. So they don't talk down to you. He assures you everything. He lets you know what he's doing, and I know people who I've sent there who love him because of that. And
Well, his staff is so nice. It clues you in on every step of the way. Explains why they need an appointment. I mean, that itself, I think, a lot of time it's the front desk, because sometimes you might have a great doctor, though the front desk staff is not so, but Dr. Maynard's staff seems to be very, very nice, right?
They are very professional. They sell a bunch of goodies out there. But again, I highly recommend them. Their website, they're in Redlands. The website is Pearly, Pearly, White, WHITES, whitesdds.com. That's pearlywhitesdds.com. So if you have any kind of teeth problems or anything, and they can take you in. Most of the time, they can take you in the same day, if not very soon afterwards. But they really work around their schedule, around you rather than their schedule. And if they can fit you in, they will. So, okay, one thing. Back to our guest here, who I feel like family here.
Yeah.
One thing that really impressed me about you, and I'm being very honest, is your passion, not only for the comedy, but you really truly love when people come and see you.
Yeah.
Like when we came out last week, I just felt overwhelmed. Like, wow, your heart just opened up, and you took it real. You didn't take it for granted. Let's put it that way.
No.
You really
yeah.
cared about people coming, laughing, enjoying themselves, and everyone there. It seems like they've known you, and it was just a nice feeling. Izzy's shaking her head, yes, and it was a really nice thing to see.
I really appreciate that you noticed that, because I hate calling people fans. I just kind of feel that's degrading.
Well, we're not fans. I'm doing this so when you're big,
Right.
you get free tickets.
Exactly.
Allan's just a stalker.
I'm schmoozing you. I'm a stalker. Yeah, friends, fans. Yeah.
He's stalking him.
How can you be a fan? I've only known you for 2 times. Yeah.
Right?
No, really,
but
I really mean it.
I like to call people friends and family, and I don't want to ever be above somebody. I'm just a man, and I just I'm like, sometimes there's guys that they're like, well, I have 50,000 followers on Instagram. Like, okay, how many of those do you actually know? And they're like, well, you only have 3,000 or 2,800. I don't know even how many I have, but I actually know probably 99% of them. I've met them in real life. I've shook in their hands. I've hung out with them. I've walked outside, smoked a cigarette with them. They post a comment or a post on Instagram or Facebook about, man, I'm really going through it. I'm in their inbox like, hey, what's going on? You okay? I love the organic people, like the organic following. I don't pay for my followers or anything. I want people to know that I come and I do this from a point of like being relatable. Like that's what makes, because there's guys that have better written jokes than me. Of course, there's always going to be someone that's better, but I want to give you this show. I want to.
When you say better, I mean everyone's got a different
technically written.
Okay.
But my energy is kind of crazy.
You're very spontaneous, and I think that's part.
Yeah.
I mean, like Robin Williams, my God, he just talk about spontaneous.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
talking to you, and all of a sudden,
Yeah, he's just pulling
Jonathan
stuff out
Winter,
the sky.
same thing. It was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
those are real true comedians. They're nutsy as can be, but that's part of the the charm of them.
Yeah, and I hold like myself accountable for everything I do, and I really like the fact that I get to meet all these people, and I've had more than 5 occasions where someone has messaged me like, you saved my life.
Wow.
So that touches me on a whole nother level, and that's why I'm like, well, you're not my fan. I can't call you a fan. Like, I saved your life. Like, you're my friend.
Yeah.
Like I don't. So yeah, I love that you noticed how much I do enjoy
Oh yeah,
that.
no, I don't think I've seen that in any other person I've ever met. I mean, I've seen a couple of chefs, maybe the one in Las Vegas. He was very, very nice too. He took everything just
To heart,
really
yeah.
to heart. But you're one of the few people who I've really met all my life that I've seen that on, and I just thought, wow, that's pretty neat. Because I think to be successful, it starts inside you. and you've got to have the passion, but you got to have the heart to deal with it. Some people can't deal with rejection, they can't deal with that, and you can, obviously.
Yeah.
And again, nobody wants to be booed or whatever, but I know just being on TV, I'm nobody. I'm just Allan, a fat guy who likes to eat. But some people see me, they want autographs, they want pictures of me, and I'm like, yeah, okay, don't you have a life? I mean, come on. But I'm very honest too. It really makes me feel good when I can help a restaurant. Oh. Yeah. I got one fan, Joe, right? Yeah, right. Joe, our engineer. But it makes a difference when you can make a difference in people's life. That's why I love making people laugh.
Yeah.
And whether I turn them on to food or culture or just make them laugh with something stupid I do. Hey, if that makes them laugh, I'll do anything. I really do anything for a laugh.
Yeah.
If I got to walk around wearing a burqa, maybe not a burqa, but okay, kind of hot and with a beard, it wouldn't look good. But I just think it's a visual here. But I think it's important to have the passion, and you really do.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I do.
Did I lie good enough, Izzy?
Huh?
Did I lie good enough?
Yes.
Yeah, that was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
You should be an
Sounds
actor
good.
too,
Oh,
then.
I do. I'm a very good actor. So, that's one thing I'm not. Izzy's not either. We're both real people. What you see is what you get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
kind of like you. The way you are in person is the way you are on stage.
Yeah, that's why I kind of took the as is. The as is thing was actually an accident. Not necessarily my persona being like, take it or leave it. That's who I am. But the name itself was kind of done on accident. And I just ran with that. The whole idea of being as is, when Facebook first came out, me and my dad have the same name. And so his friends would find me, my friends would find him, and this and that. So I just changed it. Like, I'm just Brett as is. It's just me.
So is that your Facebook?
That was my Facebook. Facebook made me change it, and I had to make another one, and now I have two. It's Brett Miller on
Brett
Facebook.
Miller, okay.
But yeah, so what happened was I changed it to the Brett as is, like that's just me. And it was probably, I don't know, 7 years later when I started doing comedy and I was getting promoted, and the producers were making their flyers, and they find me online, and they're like, "Oh, that's a good stage name. This is Brett as is." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
It's a way to market itself.
And then I was like, well, how do I run with this? And it just became, I'm just as is, take it.
Yeah. Now, have you taken any classes in comedy?
No.
Really? Okay.
No, I don't believe that true funny can be taught. I just believe
No,
it's,
it has to be part of you.
yeah, I'm sure, like, I'm not saying that, like, if there's a really good, like, say a writing class that teaches you how to structure your joke, like, that's one thing, but, like, to teach someone how to deliver, the timing, the personality, the energy, what you have to do on stage, I don't believe that could be taught.
Well, you look at the different people, like Rodney Dangerfield. I mean,
He's great.
All these people, they're all different.
Yeah,
Some
exactly.
some know how to tell a joke and just go. I mean, on and on, quickly, like him. He's just, but others, it's long and drawn out, and there's a punchline at the end, and some of them, they're not made to be funny. And then the funny part is for them not being funny.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So everyone's got their own delivery system, their own shtick, I would say.
Yeah, and that's why I don't think it can necessarily be taught. I think it could be mimicked, because of course when you're starting out, you're looking at guys and you're like, okay, what do I do? And you do the stereotypical like setup, punchline, callback, tags or whatever. But I just still think that if you're trying to be like that comic or like this comic, then you're losing. You're not being who you are. You got to be yourself. That's, to me, the rule of it all. It's not like, there's cover bands.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do cover comedy. You can't. You gotta.
That would be funny. wouldn't it?
Like it's just you.
I mean, I've been to a couple of shows where, unfortunately, some of the people there just weren't. I mean, I laugh at pretty much anything, but there's a couple of people. It's really embarrassing. Nothing was funny. Someone like Jerry Seinfeld. I went to see him 5-6 years ago, maybe.
I can't stand Seinfeld. I'm sorry.
I saw him live, and it was Joan Rivers, Don Rickles. That was another show, but he was with somebody. Anyway, he came on, and people were laughing at his jokes and everything. I'm like, well, I don't get it. It's kind of like eating at Cane's or Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't get it. And then he started bathroom humor. The last 5 minutes, the bathroom humor. That's when I started laughing. Everybody else like, oh God. But I'm saying is everyone's got their own thing, and
Yeah.
everyone in the audience hears things differently too. They take things differently. Some take it to heart. Some don't. Some look. I just look at the humor of it.
Yeah.
I don't care whether it was a fat joke or, anything. If it's funny, it's funny. I don't care. Humor is humor.
Yeah, it is.
And for people to take it seriously, come on, folks. But then these are the people who are stuck in the corner. They're black and white, and that's it. That's what I find, at least.
Yeah, and that's why I love my as-isness.
Well, tonight, you're gonna be at 8:00 now. This is an interesting place.
Yeah, I have never been
I
there.
thought it was like a white supremacist nightclub or bar or something.
Well, I asked, is that a biker bar?
I never heard of it, and
I'm like, is it gonna be safe?
have they seen a white Jewish person there? And,
Is there gonna
and
be a
the
lynch
Asian?
mob?
Yeah.
It is in Banning.
Well, what's it called?
I believe it's called
Fraternity of the Eagles or something
or
like that.
flight of
Flight Eagles, I
flight
don't
of the Eagles, flight of the Condors,
FOE, I think.
foe of Eagles.
Full of Eagles.
I think it's like an Eagles club or something.
Well, it's a fraternity, and I'm not sure what they do. It sounds like they.
Well, I've seen them off the 215 freeway.
Yeah, I saw that too.
So when you say Eagles, I'm like, okay, I've seen something like that. I wonder if it's a union. I'm
No,
like,
it's
what is it?
It's a fraternity, and I think it's like a service fraternity type
Oh,
of thing.
cool.
It sounds like they do a lot of good stuff, but we weren't sure. So I know I'm Jewish. I'm going to wear a big cross tonight, just in case.
No, I promise you, if you're with me, we could be anywhere,
Okay.
and you're probably safe.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Good,
I grew up on the wrong side of the tracks,
Oh,
and I know
cool.
everybody.
good. So what?
So tonight in Banning, it's at Eagles, and it's at 8 p.m.
8 p.m. It says doors open at 5. That's just because that's when the bar opens.
Okay.
Oh, so
It
people you
is-
get drunk before then, right?
Yeah. See, then they can really hackle you.
Exactly. It's at 5200 Ramsey Street, Banning, California. Foe of Eagles, number 3768. And I am hosting. I got my man Smokey D on there, Kevin Davis, Marina Comedy, and Tommy Chun. Again, like I said, I know all these cats personally. They're really good friends of mine. And if all three of these guys are performing there, I don't think it's a white supremacist club.
Okay.
Oh, it makes me feel better.
Yeah.
I just never heard of it. And of course, I wanted to find out. Do they have food there? Of course, you got to have food.
Gotta have food.
Well,
But
so
don't
come
critique
out-
it too bad, though.
No,
I'm just kidding.
Trust your
Well,
mind.
people should come out and support you guys. Yeah, come
Yeah.
out and you have nothing better to do, or you try to find something to do. This is perfect.
It was
It's
really fun.
Banning.
And if
Right in the backyard.
If Izzy says that, she's very particular where she goes. And if she had a good time last time, it's got to be good. I mean, she's a toughie.
Yeah.
If
I
she-
was crying towards the end of the night,
we
literally
were laughing
crying.
so hard.
Yeah.
It was fun.
But afterwards we met all of them, and they're just the nicest people.
They are.
No egos whatsoever.
No, and I really, once I've met comedians that, big time comics that have made it big, and they some of them, develop egos after they make $1 million and stuff. But for the most part, man, every comedian, like 99% of them that I've met have been absolutely cool with me, taking pictures with me or whatever,
And it's cool because it's like all the fans are out to see these comics, are taking pictures with their the comedians there, which they actually wait around to do that with everybody, and you don't get that now. A lot of times you go to the bigger shows, you become just one of the ants,
You're
in
just
the
a fan.
crowd.
You're just a fan. And that's why
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
Right.
So I really like these intimate, really unique, I think,
Yeah. shows.
venues.
Plus, these are people that a lot of them you've never seen before, and they're funny. They're up and coming. I mean, you never know. Next week you're going to be on TV. I mean, really, that's
Yeah.
the way comedy is.
It's crazy.
It's just it's really something. Joe, our producer, had some questions. He wants to know, how do you feel about Anthony Jeselnik?
Oh man, I think he's pretty funny. He really pushes some buttons. I can't repeat some of the things, but I think he's pretty good.
Okay.
I can't stand Amy Schumer.
Okay. He wasn't one of
Cannot.
them. How about Ali Wong?
Oh, I think I know her. If it's who I'm thinking of, she's funny. She's pregnant? Yes, yeah.
By you?
Not by
Oh,
me.
okay.
No.
Oh, that wouldn't be funny at all, would it?
That would-
That would be terrible. Yeah. Oof. Okay. How about Dave Chappelle?
Oh God,
Oh,
yeah.
He's
Yeah.
brilliant, I think.
Oh,
He's-
he's hilarious.
Probably him and Bill Burr right now are just gods to me. You know, out of the people that really do comedy.
A lot of people don't like Chappelle, but
I like him.
I just
He's real.
He's real, and how he addresses it, it's genius.
yeah.
It's like Bill Burr, how he did it on that last Red Rock special, where he's like, "See, while I'm sitting on the fence, I get to see both sides."
Yeah.
You know, when you're sitting on one side, it's just how they word it. It makes sense.
And another one is, let's see, Bo Burno.
Oh, he's the musician. Yes, he's good. He's dead. Oh, he went like that.
Joe
he's
said
dead?
That's not funny.
insane.
Yeah.
No, he's good. It's just, to me, after so much of him, it's like enough is enough. It's like it's just so repetitive. It's like the same thing. It's sometimes the musical comedians fall into that, though, you know, because they rely solely on
Music.
their music.
Yeah. So, okay, let's talk food.
Yes,
I know you're a
please.
foodie.
Yes.
Now you've traveled everywhere. I mean, I listen to some of your states that you've been to. It's like, wow. What kind of food do you like the best? Or do you have a favorite?
You know, I got asked that the other day, and honestly, it's so hard. I mean, growing up in Southern California, I think Mexican food is just a staple. You know, like tacos. It's just like, what's your favorite food? Tacos. It's just so quick to answer, but I love everything. I really do. Pasta, seafood. It doesn't matter.
We'll have to have some of my food. You'll find something you don't like. So work on that. So
That's his goal. That's Alan's goal to just say, I don't like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's sucks. But food critics here.
You know what I can say that I like? I like the food in certain areas that they're known for.
Like,
So, like in Maine, you know, you got the lobster, right? You know, Chicago, you got the deep dish pizza, a real one, a real deep dish, not what they call it out here.
Yeah.
Philly, the cheesesteak, you know, but you
Nothing
have
like
to
it.
be in
Yeah.
Philly to have it like that.
right.
You know, California, the Mexican food. You know, you go to Texas, the smoked barbecue. You know, stuff like that. That's what I really like.
Okay, that makes sense. So, Izzy, you want any questions?
No questions. You guys cover it all. It's good.
Oh, great.
I'm in a food coma, actually. And I got a shout out to Cowboy Burgers. Thank you so much for catering the event for
You
my
live in
therapy.
Riverside. On Arlington, it's called Cowboy Burgers and Barbecue.
I've been wanting to try it.
It's really good.
Oh.
I've known the owners
Really?
there for 25 years. Probably he has 2 other restaurants, I think in Ontario and Fontana. And he opened up here, and it's a small place. You can sit down, but it's mostly takeout.
It's a
too.
family owned, yes.
But great burgers. They want 2 different kinds. That's it. But burgers
Oh, the
and their
burgers.
barbecue. They do tri-tip, chicken, pulled pork, and ribs.
Oh,
And they got
yeah.
a smoker right there. And as you walk in, you see it. And everything's made from scratch. The barbecue sauce,
Including
potato
the barbecue
salad.
sauce. Yeah, everything. I mean, like, they made brownies, and I do not like brownies.
brownies.
People know me. I don't like brownies. I gobbled it up. I couldn't
who
eat
hurt
it.
you?
I don't know. So in my past life, something happened with the
real?
brownies. But these brownies, I literally couldn't put it down. I literally inhaled the entire piece, like nonstop eating it. It was like almost like a fudge. I mean, it's so amazing. I was like, wow, I was blown away. And, you know, I just got to thank them for supporting the Therapy Dogs group that I belong to and catered our event. So thank you so much.
By the way, I'm Izzy's therapy dog. When she works, I go with her, and she gives me taps on the head.
Taps on the head.
If I'm real
Well, I
good,
need all the therapy I can get, obviously.
if I'm really good, she feeds me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, biscuits, whatever I want.
Whatever
And
you,
so, yeah,
whatever I want.
Some scraps.
scraps. And, so, what do you have any fears when you're up there on stage? I mean, are you always? I'm going to say high in not in a chemical way, but are you always like my daughter used to be in theater. You could tell her head just. That's it. I'm on. You
I'm
could see
on.
when she's on.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way too?
You know, I would be lying if I said I didn't get nervous still. I mean, there is a.
What makes you nervous?
It's sometimes if I'm doing a show with certain comedians where it's like your buddies, you're like, man, we're gonna kill this. I better kill it because we're all friends, you know. Because you know, after the show, they're not gonna be the guys that are gonna be.
Do
yeah,
they-
yeah, good set, good set. They're gonna be like, bro, really? That sucked. You-
To harass you or to make you better?
to make you better. It's always
Okay.
making you better. I got to give a shout out to 3 people. Well, Eddie Jarvis, he got me into the game. And that's pretty much it. But
He's a big guy, so 3.
it's just I got to give him that credit at least. But Rick Rome, and Big Mike, rest in peace, Big Mike. But Rick Rome, he used to run a weekly night at Liam's over here in Colton. And it was, I think, the longest running weekly open mic night in California, only behind one other show up in Northern California. But that room, if you wanted to get your chops, you better go there, because I've been there doing sets that killed, and no one gives a crap. They're just like, no. So you get used to that burn. Big Mike, he'd always push me. Big Mike was like the Dr. Dre to my Eminem kind of deal. He booked me everywhere. He believed in me so much, and I missed the heck out of him. But even like Kevin Davis and Mac Rome, he was the first person to ever pay me, and he put me on some good spots. And Kevin Davis, my boy Cooley, Tamika, Carly Carr, these people are really, really, really good friends of mine. My man Mario Zapata, like, they'll tell you like, hey, bro, don't do that again, or do it this way.
Do you see them helping? Do you see other comedians helping you?
No, not. They do and they don't.
Because their humor is different than yours, I'm sure, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, if they don't, they may steal it. Not you see it as stealing a joke, but if they have a similar growing up experience or ex-wife experience, or
yeah, well, it's like parallel thinking. We can't always assume that they're stealing. We have to assume that they have gone through, like you said, the similar experience. But you could tell when someone steals a joke. Especially like there's specific jokes that comedians do where you're like, that's yours. That is your joke. And then comics will help each other, but comedy is very cliquey. It's very cliquey,
they were very competitive, right?
Very competitive. People get very jealous. Las Vegas scene is real cliquey. LA's real cliquey. I don't want to say a feud because I don't want people to think that we just hate each other. But, LA to IE, to LA comics, IE comics are just trash, ghetto.
Right.
To IE comics, LA comics are just pretentious and and suck.
The stereotype.
I'll just talk about Starbucks again, like. But there's some great LA. Oh man, my man Zoe Johnson. You guys got to check him out too. But yeah, comics will help each other. It's just not as much as they should.
Okay, real quick, we're running out of time.
Yeah.
What do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh God, man. It's hard. I'm at that point where do I do this or that? I would love to be doing this kind of stuff every day, during the day, promoting something, and then at night just slaying on stage.
Well, you can be on our show anytime you want.
That'd be awesome.
You've got my number, and just
Yeah.
we'd love to have you. And again, we're talking to Brett Miller. Brett as is, Brett as is.
Yeah.
And one more time, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
I'm on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, really everything. If you want my phone number, I'm more than willing to give that out
Sure.
too.
Go ahead.
No, my number is 682-263-8585. If anyone needs to book
Do
me.
it in Spanish, just in case.
Seis tres dos. No. No, but yeah,
But
Instagram and Facebook.
You do
most
business
time.
meetings and stuff like that, parties and stuff.
I do business meetings, parties,
bar mitzvahs.
Yeah, I'll do all
for
that.
all two Jewish friends of yours. So
The station that leaves no listener behind, KCAA.
Hi, I'm food critic Allan Borgen, and I'm excited to tell you about Ray's Shanghai Bistro, located next to Redlands DMV on Lagonia in Redlands. Ray's Shanghai Bistro offers the largest and most delicious array of traditional and original Chinese dishes available in the Inland Empire. Some of my favorite dishes are the house-made pot stickers, the crisp pork spare ribs with garlic, their unique spicy lamb with bamboo, the sweet and tangy deep-fried orange peel beef, and the savory basil spicy shrimp, plus lots of vegetarian dishes. Whether you dine in, pick up the food, or have them cater your next party or special occasions, you will see why Ray's, spelled R-U-I''S, Shanghai Bistro, is truly the best Chinese restaurant in the Inland Empire. Their website is raysshanghaibistro.net. That's raysshanghaibistro.net. RUIS shanghaibistro.net. Happy eating. You won't be disappointed.
This segment is brought to you by the all-new Lafferty Communities Homes and their brand-new community opening in Yucaipa. Their showcase home, Ascend at Mountain Gate, is opening Saturday, October the 8th at 10 a.m. This Yucaipa new home community is located at 34663 Cadota Street. That's 34663 Cadota Street, and is surrounded by the beautiful foothills of the San Bernardino Mountain area. Tour the Residence 4 home with 3,570 square feet of living, 4 bedrooms, a home office, and 3.5 beds. This home features designer finishes, a gourmet kitchen, a tech room, a loft, and a primary spa bath with a walk-in closet. Ascend at Mountain Gate offers 47 single-family homes with choice of 2-story or single-story plan. There are large home sites available that will accommodate a pool and RV parking. Tours are available Thursdays through Mondays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can call today at 909-588-7420. That's 909